Hi guys, I am here with this week's art lesson. So this week's theme is sun, moon, and stars. So I'm going to show you how to make a sun catcher or a sun stained glass that you can go put in a window. So the supplies that you're going to need are coffee filters. 2 of them probably would be the best. And then you're going to need washable markers and some water. Just in a little cup. And I suggest either a paper towel or a regular towel or something to protect the table a little bit. So gather up those supplies and then we can get started. So you just need coffee filters, like this, and you want to flatten them out pretty good so they stay nice and flat for you. And like I said, we are going to be coloring on these and then adding water. So you probably want something down on your table just to protect the surface so you don't have a huge mess. If you use washable markers, it will come off. But just so you don't have a huge mess down there. And then you want to grab some markers. Since you're doing the sun, you want to do warm colors. So our warm colors are red, orange, and yellow. So these are the color markers that you're going to want to have out. Sharpies will not work. It needs to be something that is washable or water-based. It does not have to be Crayola. Whatever water-based markers you have will be fine. And then all you're going to do is take your coffee filters. To save time, if you want to, you can stack both of them together. Or if you want this project to take a little bit longer, or if you want to color them separately, that's completely fine. You can color them separately. But what you're going to do is set them down on whatever surface you are working on, and then just start coloring. You do not want to draw, especially anything with details, because the details are going to be lost as soon as we add water. So you're just doing lots of color. Scribbling works fine. So however the kids can color is fine. If they scribble like this, if they do dots, whatever works the best for them will be fine with this. Because what the water is going to do is turn this into tie-dye and mix everything together. I'm not going to do a lot of red. I'm just going to do a little bit here and there because that'll mix with the yellow and make orange. You do want to try and get as much color on these as you can. The more color you have, the brighter they will be. So you do want to try and get a good amount of color on these. Now that doesn't mean you have to color every ounce of white on here, but you want to have the majority of the white colored. This method is really good for all different projects. You can turn these into all different things. You can turn them into butterflies or flowers, or you can use them for anything. Now I said you could stack them. So if you do that, then you only have to do the top one. Color the top one. If you're coloring them separately, then you just move this off to the side and do the same thing to this one. But you want to color your coffee filter. If you only did one, you want to stack them together. Caps on my markers so they don't dry out. And then you're going to add water to this. So you can do this a couple different ways. If you have a spray bottle that is empty, you can add water to the spray bottle and spray it. If you have a paintbrush, which is the method I'm doing, then you can dab the water on there. I'll show you in just a second. If you don't have either of those, you can use your fingers. You can dip your fingers in the water and flick the water on. That might take a little bit longer, but it'll work. And a lot of the kids like that because it's a sensory thing for them. So that's completely fine. I'm using the paintbrush method. So you dip your brush into the water and dab it. Now you want to make sure, especially if you only colored one coffee filter, you want to make sure that this water is getting all the way through both coffee filters. Because if it does not, the color is not going to run. Because what the water is doing is mixing with that marker and turning it into a watercolor and making it spread like tie-dye. So if the coffee filter below is not wet, then it will not get the marker on it. And you just go around the whole thing. A good way to tell if you got it all the way through is after you think you have it all done, you can pick it up, and if there's any white spots, which there is not, then you know that you need to add more water. So I stacked mine both together. I have no white spots. Now I'm going to separate them. This part can be kind of hard, especially if you get them really matched up really well. So find an edge where you can pull the two coffee filters apart and let them dry. There we go. So you're going to set them separate, let them dry. It will not take very long for these to dry. Because they're just coffee filters, they're very, very thin. Especially if you set them in the sun, next to a fan, they will dry very, very quickly. So what you're going to do after they are dry, one is going to be for the main part of your sun. Okay? The other one, we're going to cut into triangles. So I will show you how to do that on one that is not colored, just so you can see better. Plus mine are not quite dry. Set mine off to the side just for a minute. They're not going to look super bright yet, but they get brighter as they dry. So you'll see the marker again. Okay, so like I said, one you're going to leave round. The other one we are going to cut into triangles to use for the rays around the sun. My suggestion is that you fold it in half. Half again, half again. So you end up with this little tiny piece. And then what you can do is take scissors and cut around the edge. That's going to cut off your folds. Just like that. So I cut this edge and I cut this edge. Because you cut off the folds, then you will have, when you separate them, you will have triangle pieces like this because you cut the folds off. Easiest way to make triangles out of a coffee filter. Then what you can do after everything is completely dry, take the one that's whole, set it down, grab your glue stick, and you're going to glue the triangles to your big circle all the way around. I know these are white. This isn't the piece I cut. The piece I colored is still wet. So you're going to glue them all the way around the outside like this. I'm going to bring this over so you can see. And then when it dries, the glue dries, you can pick it up, put it in the window, and you will have a stained glass sun. Because the color or the sun will shine through the colors and you'll be able to see them much better in the window. So that is how you can make a coffee filter sun catcher. Like I said, coloring the coffee filters and doing that method, you can do lots of different things with them. The theme is sun, moon, and stars. So if you wanted to do one that looked like a moon, you could do the same thing but use dark colors. So use grays, blues, purples, do the same method. Just don't add the triangles around for the rays because the moon doesn't have that. And then you could put that next to the sun in the window and you'd have the sun and the moon. So there's a couple ideas for you. I hope you guys have fun and enjoy this lesson. I will see you guys next week.